Well, personal friend may be a tad strong, but I do know him quite well.
said Rarity, lightly light, smiley lightly at Spike.
But be that as it may, we have work to do, Trixie.
She stated before Spike's bragging gave the poor Mary a stroke, as much as Rarity enjoyed it. Excuse me. Trixie shook off her shock.
Of course.
She said, going to the sewing machine and getting to work. Trixie actually did fairly well at the work, much to Spike's surprise.
You know how to sew?
He asked, watching her work the sewing machines. Trixie nodded slightly.
Yes, it's a useful skill for someone who lives on the road, to know. Trixie didn't have time to stop at the tailor every time her clothing became torn or ripped. So paid to have such a talent.
Spike nodded.
Well, you're good at it.
Trixie smiled proudly as she finished sewing another patch on. She set the dress back on its model so it wouldn't wrinkle.
Thank you. Trixie takes pride in her work. Well, you're doing pretty good this time,
Said Spike, though naturally having Rarity endorse Trixie had a rather sizable say in his own opinion.
Where'd you learn? Grand taught Trixie.
Explained the Unicorn Mare as she continued to work.
It was one of those things Trixie had no interest in at the time, but she said would most certainly come in handy, and it most certainly has.
Spike gave a small nod.
Yeah, so you learn a lot from your grandma?
Trixie gave a true smile, as true a one Spike had seen her give, to be honest.
Yes, Trixie did.
She said, continuing to work. She heard the same biting words clawing their way into her head again, but this time she felt her mind becoming conflicted and decided to change her train of thought at ASAP.
Why has your opinion of Trixie changed so much?
Spike blinked in surprise.
No reason. Just thought I'd give you a chance, all. Does this have anything to do with the fact that a certain mayor has accepted Trixie?
Trixie teased. She'd seen how the little dragon behaved around Rarity, hung on her every word as if they came from Celestia herself. Spike looked shyly and blushed.
Well, maybe just a little.
He said, getting a little chuckled from Trixie.
Wow, Rarity, your new line is beautiful.
Said Twilight, who was now browsing through all dresses laid out. Rarity smiled, continuing her work.
Thank you, Twilight. I've worked very hard on them all. All that's left is to sew these patches on, she said, concentrating more on her work than anything else until the thread out. Oh, sorry.
She said, concentrating more on her work than anything else, until the thread ran out completely.
Oh, out of thread,
She said, trotting out of the room to get more.
Well, I'm sure your clients will love them,
Replied Twilight, looking them over carefully as Rarity left the room. Twilight didn't notice.
My big sister always makes great dresses,
Said Sweetie Belle, smiling from ear to ear with pride. Twilight smiled down at the little filly.
She sure does.
She said, happy to see Sweetie Belle brag about her sister.
So, how are you and the other Cutie Mark Crusaders doing, My Little Pony? We're good. We have a lot of fun,
said Sweetie Belle, smiling widely.
Yesterday we tried being Cutie Mark Crusader tennis players. Really? How'd that go?
Spike looked over and noticed Trixie's long hair was resting on the very dress she was sewing. The mare hadn't had a mane cut in quite some time, and her hair had grown out a fair bit.
Trixie, you may want to. You can relax, Spike. Trixie knows what she's doing.
Replied the unicorn, continuing as she was.
But Trixie doesn't need any help. She can handle this.
Replied Trixie, getting a little angry. She switched to the next dress, one with a checkerboard motif. With them being rather regal, she began to sew on as normal, until she noticed the name on the dress tag, eyes going wide and a chill going down her spine.
Oh, it can't be.
She thought, then read the name again, her heart racing terror.
It is her.
She seemed to just freeze up, staring at the tag in fear. Spike blinked.
Trixie?
He asked, not getting a reaction.
Trixie?
He asked, putting his hand on her side, a tad concerned. Trixie screamed in surprise, pushing the dress forward sharply, and let out another scream as her mane got caught up in the sewing machine. Ow, that's a hurt. Spike cringed and covered his eyes.
I tried to warn you.
Sorry, I jumped down real quick. Trixie struggled trying to pull her mane out of the machine, only succeeding in making the situation worse. Spike grabbed her tail and tried to help her pull her mane out of the device, or you should just turn it off.
So we had a lot of fun, even if we can never go back to the tennis court again.
Finished Sweetie Belle with a smile to a rather confused Twilight. Then she heard the ruckus from Trixie's accident and looked over.
What's going on? Huh?
Twilight asked, licking directions at the noise. She then saw Trixie's plight.
Trixie!
She yelled and ran over to her. Twilight grabbed Trixie and pulled, trying to help her dislodge her mane with Spike's help. Trixie's tangled mane finally gave way, causing her to stagger backwards and hit Twilight in the face with her hoof. Twilight was sent backpedaling and right through a window with a scream, while Trixie continued backwards into a shelf, knocking it over into a bunch of mannequins, which knocked one another like dominoes, setting off further chaos in the process. Rarity walked back into the room as the resulting disaster ended. Rarity gave a gasp, looking around the ruined room in shock.
What happened?
She asked in surprise, with a slight eye twitch. Her eyes then fell on Sweetie Belle with a slight glare. Sweetie Belle blinked in confusion before realizing what was going on.
Hey, it wasn't me this time,
she exclaimed, her and Rarity jumping as the sewing machine burst into flames. Oh, damn.
That wouldn't happen. First of all, your hair can't even get stuck in the sewing machine like that.
I don't know. Trixie looked down guiltily at Rarity, fixed up her hair. The room's still a disaster.
Rarity, is Twilight alright?
She asked, honest concern in her voice. Rarity nodded slightly, working on getting the tangles out and cutting some split ends.
She will be. Don't worry. She just got a few scrapes and bruises. She's had worse. She's going to the hospital to get checked out and make sure.
Trixie nodded, but looked almost sick to her stomach with guilt.
Looks like Trixie messed up again.
She said with a miserable sigh, leaning forward and letting her forehead slam into the wall, not moving otherwise.
Oh, it's nothing, darling. Sweetie has made bigger messes, and I really need to stop setting up my shop in such a way that one little thing toppling over somehow sets off a chain reaction that wrecks the entire room,
Said Rarity, trying to choose her words carefully. She knew Trixie didn't mean to do this. It was an accident and nothing more. But she could practically feel the mare's guilt, something she never thought she'd see from Trixie of all ponies. From the conflicted look on her face, Rarity doubted the blue unicorn expected it from herself either.
Besides, you did get about a quarter of the dresses done, which is still a help.
And the sewing machine burst into flames.
Trixie said in a completely deadpan voice, not moving her head from its spot resting against the wall.
Oh, that. Don't worry, I've got another one, and it was just because your mane clogged up the machinery, I think.
Said Rarity, looking at the burnt-up machine and the burnt dress which she'd now have to remake.
But it does mean you can't do anything more today, I suppose. But I shall pay you for the work you already did. I cannot blame you for an accident.
Sorry. A knock came on the door, prompting Rarity to give a growl.
Oh, what now?
She asked, opening the door, only for an orange and yellow streak to fly by her.
Hi, Rarity!
Yelled two excited fillies as they flew past the mare.
Oh, hello, girls.
Said Rarity, getting a little nervous.
Hey, Sweetie Belle!
Hey, Sweetie Belle!
Exclaimed Scootaloo and Applebloom, skidding to a stop in front of Sweetie Belle.
Hey, Applebloom. Hey, Scootaloo.
Yelled Sweetie Belle, smiling widely. Scootaloo looked around the place.
Wow, it looks like a tornado tore through here.
Oh, an earthquake!
Said Applebloom,
Or a
likewise looking
tornado
around.
and an earthquake!
Both
Or a
fillies
tornado and an earthquake!
Both fillies then gave Sweetie Belle a look. She gave a glare back.
It wasn't me this time. Why does every pony automatically assume I was the one who wrecked Rarity's shop?
The two simply gave her a raised eyebrow. Sweetie Belle got a sheepish look in response.
Oh yeah, but how was I supposed to know what the red button did? It was a wrecking ball. Else was it supposed to do? What else was it supposed to do?
Asked Scootaloo with a small glare.
I didn't know we were in one. We were supposed to be Cutie Mark Crusader basket weavers.
I kind of want to read that story. Anyway, replied Sweetie Belle with a glare of her own.
Not Cutie Mark Crusaders, demolition ponies.
Applebloom blinked, giving a perplexed look.
You know, she's got a point. How'd we even end up in that thing anyway?
Scootaloo was about to respond, but blinked, rubbing her head in confusion.
I don't know. Well, you got bored and said basket weaving was dumb. Then there was that bird. Oh, wait, sorry. Misread who. I thought Applejack jumped in. Sorry. Brain's out of the loop.
Your brain was all on basket weaving. Yeah, well, you got bored and said basket weaving was dumb, and then there was that bird.
Said Applebloom, cringing at that part along with the other two.
Fluttershy wasn't too happy about that.
Reminded Sweetie Belle in a sheepish tone.
Yeah, I was afraid she'd use the stare on us.
Muttered Scootaloo with a nod.
And I didn't even know how that one ended up. It was covered in tree sap.
Said Applebloom, rubbing her head in confusion. Scootaloo nodded.
Ever noticed that a surprising amount of our Cutie Mark attempts end with us covered in tree sap?
Sweetie Belle nodded, equally as confused.
Yeah, but it really wasn't me this time.
Sorry. Trixie sighed miserably, finally moving her head from the wall to look at them.
Trixie is afraid it was her fault.
Should have known it was you.
Said Scootaloo, glaring daggers at the mare.
See, Applebloom, I told you so.
Wow.
Guess you were right about her being trouble, Scootaloo.
Replied Applebloom, likewise glaring at her.
Wait, Apple Bloom?
Asked Trixie, blinking confusion. She didn't cringe in realization.
That Trixie guess. You related to Applejack? Yep, I'm a little sis. And you're still mad at Trixie for publicly humiliating her. Yeah, that's about right.
Trixie gave a sigh.
Of course.
Hey, don't worry about her.
Interrupted Sweetie Belle, trying to settle things down a bit. Truth be told, she really didn't see anything wrong with Trixie personally. She'd made worse messes of the shop herself, and Rarity forgave her after all. She can't be all bad.
Remember what today is? Oh, yeah!
Said Scootaloo, giving a wide grin.
How could I forget?
Asked Applebloom, smiling wide as well.
Cutie Mark Crusader camping trip
Cutie Mark
with
Crusaders
Rarity.
Camping trip with Rarity.
Trixie was nearly knocked off her hooves by the massive yell of the trio of fillies, and dazed for a moment by the volume of it. She shook her head to get rid of the ringing in her ears.
Now Trixie knows what's Now Trixie knows what's next.
Girls?
Said Rarity with a sad look, trying to approach this as carefully as possible.
I'm afraid we may have to cancel the camping trip. Why? Wait.
Yeah, what's going on, Miss Rarity?
Yeah, sis, you promised.
Rarity sighed miserably, trying not to look at the three hurt fillies looking up at her.
Well, I was really relying on Trixie's help to finish everything in time so we could go.
She said, wanting to put the blame on the poor mare. Sorry, not wanting to put the blame on the poor mare any more than the trio already had.
And the sewing machine she was using?
Burst into flame.
Muttered Trixie, lowering her head in embarrassment. Rarity couldn't help feeling she looked scared.
Yes, so I'm going to have to do everything myself.
Continued Rarity with a sad sigh.
I'm afraid we're going to have to cancel the camping trip.
The three fillies all looked down in disappointment.
But sis... I'm sorry, Sweetie Belle, but I'm afraid there's nothing else I can do.
Replied Rarity, looking sadly at her sister, heart practically breaking at the sad look in Sweetie Belle's eyes. Scootaloo and Applebloom both gave Trixie a glare.
Gee, thanks a lot for ruining our day.
Wow. Spat Scootaloo, bitterly glaring straight at Trixie.
Yeah, you had to go and wreck our camping trip. You have any idea how long we've been waiting?
Asked Applebloom, anger clear in her voice.
Now, girls, you've got a clubhouse, and I'm sure you can find plenty of things to do without bothering Trixie. It wasn't her fault. It was an accident.
Said Rarity in a stern tone. She noted Trixie seemed rather hurt by their words, something Rarity had never expected from her.
Come on, girls, let's go.
Said Scootaloo with a growl, leading the way out of the shop, the other two following suit. Rarity sighed.
I'm sorry about that, Trixie. I know it wasn't your fault.
She said, giving Trixie a sympathetic look. Ah. Trixie looked up at Rarity.
Trixie isn't sure if it was or not.
She muttered.
Trixie will leave you to your work.
She stated, heading out of the store with her head low. Oh, damn it. Don't do that to me. Rarity shook her head.
I hope the poor dear will be all right,
she said, looking around her ruined shop, which she have to fix as quickly as possible to be able to help Applejack in time. She went over the ruined dress.
Now, which dress was this?
She asked, levitating the burned, but still legible tag.
Checker Monarch. Oh no, she's coming to pick it up today. I mustn't be late on this one. She won't tolerate tardiness on my part,
she exclaimed, getting to work on a replacement dress before she even finished the sentence.
I guess I'll just go back to the library and wait for Twilight,
muttered Trixie, trotting along with her head low.
Why do I feel so rotten?
She asked, thinking about it long and hard.
This was an accident. I didn't do anything wrong. It's not my fault. Why should I feel so guilty?
She asked, lowly, her mind completely and utterly conflicted.
I have publicly humiliated dozens upon dozens of companies all over Equestria, from Manhattan to right here in Ponyville, without any remorse. So why is it now that I feel a complete and utter heel?
She asked, letting her long hair almost touch the ground.
And why did seeing I ruin those Phillies play dates scare me?
She asked, remembering the chill that had gone down her spine at that point. Why had she managed to frighten herself doing that, but none of the other things she'd done before had even registered that way?
Is it because Twilight and Rarity are so kind to me?
She asked, thinking over the two mares who had declared her their friend.
That doesn't explain why I was scared when I found that I ruined Philly's camping trip with Rarity. Seeing her name makes sense, or maybe that's exactly why it scared me.
She then heard voices coming from nearby.
Huh?
Through the nearby bush, sorry.
Well, this is just great. I told you that Trixie was no good,
said Scootaloo, her and the other Crusaders in the clearing. In a clearing, yeah.
Yeah, you were right, I guess.
Replied Applebloom, kicking a rock.
I was really looking for that trick, too.
Wait, Rarity said it was an accident,
said Sweetie Belle, trying to be the voice of reason if at all possible.
We shouldn't be mad at her for a mistake, should we? Oh, wake up, Sweetie Belle,
said Scootaloo. As if Sweetie was crazy.
Trixie's no good. She probably did it on purpose. How do you know?
Asked Sweetie Belle with a raised eyebrow.
'Cause Rainbow Dash told me.
Replied Scootaloo proudly.
She told me Trixie's got the others fooled, but not her.
Sweetie Belle, ain't you sore about her for hurting your sis?
Asked Applebloom, confusion clear in her voice. Sweetie Belle looked a little confused.
Well, yeah, I guess. Anyway, what are we going to do now?
She asked, trying to change the subject before they went too far down that path.
Simple.
Said Scootaloo, smirking rather mischievously.
Rainbow Dash showed me this really neat spot. Let's just go camping on our own.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Replied Apple Bloom, giving a smile. Sweetie Belle thought about it for a second and nodded. It sounded like a decent idea to her.
Yeah, let's do it. Where's the spot? In the Everfree Forest.
Yeah, that's a smart idea.
The Everfree Forest.
The Everfree Forest?
Exclaimed Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom at the same time.
Scootaloo, that forest is full of all kinds of monsters.
Said Apple Bloom, giving a shiver at her memory of past adventures there.
What makes you think camping there is a good idea?
Oh, don't be scared. Rainbow Dash showed me the trail. I know how to get us there easy.
Said Scootaloo in a confident tone of reminiscent of the rainbow-haired mare herself.
What's wrong? You two chicken?
That's funny coming from her.
No, I ain't chicken.
Replied Apple Bloom, glaring. No pony called an Apple Family pony a coward. Sweetie Belle looked oppressive, once more trying to think with common sense.
You're sure you know the way?
Scootaloo nodded.
Yeah, like the back of my hoof. And every pony knows the monsters in the Everfree Forest don't come out until after dark. Why do you think Twilight always goes to visit Zakura during the day?
I guess that makes a good bit of sense.
Said Apple Bloom, still thinking about it.
Alright, let's go.
Sweetie Belle hesitated a moment before nodding.
Sure, I guess it'll be alright. But we don't stay after dark, okay? Sure, we'll be out before dark. Promise.
Said Scootaloo, smiling. The two others nodded.
Cutie Mark Crusaders camping trip. Yay!
The trio gleefully trotted off on their way. Trixie fell backwards outside the bush as the filly streamed, still unseen by the trio, ears once again ringing.
They're going into the Everfree Forest?
She asked aloud, thinking about it with dread. She gave a shiver, remembering one specific creature there more than anything else. She then shook it off as best she could.
Oh, well, I'm sure everything will be fine. They know the way. What's the worst that can happen?
She asked aloud, trying to settle herself, if at all possible. She then resumed her path towards the library.
They're just three fillies going camping in a forest. They're just going camping. That's all. Alone in dark, unnatural, deadly, monster-infested forest.
She muttered to herself, getting more and more apprehensive with each word, dread building in her heart. Trixie gave a sigh and turned around, heading after the trio. Hello?
Where?
You're out of all days for me.
Oh, I didn't hear you do that last part.
Oh, sorry.
All the days for me to start actually caring about something else's well-being.
She muttered, following the girls towards the Everfree Forest.